Okay, first of all, who has a bag of Skittles? Step right up. See a bag of Skittles. Okay, good. Hold that bag, all right? Okay, so I came from Boston, from Roxbury, to talk to y'all about the attack on black and brown people in this country. Now, a lot of people are uncomfortable with hearing that. A lot of white people in America don't want to believe that it is so. That America has come a long way. And that black people really don't have a lot to complain about anymore. Civil rights is over, you got affirmative action. Well, hell, you got a black president. Black head of the Department of Justice. But the day-to-day lives of black and brown people in this country are not changed by such things. Just because you got an Oprah or a Michael Jordan or a Magic Johnson, that doesn't mean that the day-to-day people who are living in all of our different communities are any better off. Check? We understand that, right? Okay. So now when we look at these instances across the country, let's look at how they're interrelated and how they speak to the devaluing of black and brown life. A black or brown person's, men and women, lives ain't worth nothing in this country. And I'm talking about by the system now, right? They don't value us. How can we evidence that? Well, let's take police brutality. People say, oh, well, Jamarhl, this wasn't a case of police brutality. I know, but we're gonna correlate, right? Because you have a long list of young black and brown men who have been killed by police from Boston to Compton, from right underneath Canada down to the tippy tip of Florida, right? All black and Latino men killed by police. Anybody here, and I've talked to people I know in law enforcement who've worked in law enforcement for 30 and 40 years. Has anyone here ever heard of a case where there was a group of black officers who mistakenly shot a young white boy? You ever heard that? No. Nope, never. And people that I've talked to who worked in law enforcement for 30 and 40 years in Boston, in New York, Chicago, Philly, LA, Detroit, they never heard of that either. All right? It doesn't happen. Now when we pinpoint, well, let's play a little detective work ourselves. So if we say, well, who's the culprit, like they do us? Well, there's been a rash of break-ins in the area, and the person had on a gray New York hat and sunglasses. Then we know that my man right here is in trouble, right? They're gonna be looking for him, because that's the MO. That's what the description is of the person that's committing these things. So when we look at the things like police brutality, who's committing it? So let's look. Is it women officers? How many of y'all ever heard of a woman officer shooting and killing a young black or Latino man? Don't really happen. How many of y'all heard about Asian officers who shoot and kill a young black Latino man? Don't really happen. So let's speed up the process and just boil it down. What we really have here is an age-old thing from the time that we came to this country with white men. White men. White men don't even treat white women right, right? White men, from the age they could be all the way from rookie to veteran getting ready to retire. So that's the age we got, from whatever it is, 25 to 65, all right? There's a problem there. Those are the ones who are killing us, locking us up, denying our rights, so on and so forth, right? Now let's look in the citizenry. Don't even have to be a police officer. You could just be a regular old Joe Smo who want to be a police officer or want to be cop. Go get you a badge from the bubblegum machine, pin it on your chest, and now appoint yourself, I'm the captain of the neighborhood patrol. And kill a person, right? So I'm just saying that the attitudes now when people say, well Zimmerman, he's Latino. Oh, because of course people of color can't adopt the white supremacist mindset. That doesn't happen, right? No, it happens every day. People adopt what they've been programmed to receive. How many of y'all ever heard of the Stockholm Syndrome? Where the people begin identifying with the people who have abducted them and kidnapped them. That's the case of what we have right here in America with people of color who still, even after slavery, even after Jim Crow, even after 5,000 lynchings, even after cases of police brutality, LA, Chicago, Philly, Detroit, riots and everything, we still be the first ones to put an American flag bandana on our head, wave the flag and talk about what a great country this is. when this country has never been great to us. Is that correct, or I'm making it up?
That's correct.
All right? So now, here we gonna get to the Skittle part. So I want you to tear open that bag. What's your name? James. James got a hoodie on, right? Now, watch this too. It's a question I asked in Boston. Do I look suspicious? Do he look suspicious? Wrong answer. Yes, that's the point.
What?
Because a grown black man could be suspicious. They don't know that I, wrote a couple of books and I'm into computers and all this, whatever. From instant, look, I'm a criminal, crook, gangbanger, gotta be up to no good, selling drugs, pimping, doing something crazy, right? Automatically. And this young man, he might not be doing any of those things in their mind, but he's on his way there. So he's dangerous too.
Yeah.
Now watch this. Is it just about a hoodie and how you dress? Some boots or some jeans or something? Of course not. Y'all know about the illustrious Harvard University, right? Y'all know Skip Gates, right?
Yeah.
Are y'all like Skip or I'm not a big Skip Gates fan.
If you're from Boston, he's from Boston. So
He's not from Boston.
No,
he's from Cambridge.
He's from Cambridge. Came from Boston.
No, it's not. No. But yeah, we ain't gonna claim that one, brother.
What's up? I'm from there too, cuz.
Boston.
We in Worcester. If we in Worcester, Cambridge is the same thing as Boston.
To people in Worcester. Alright? So my point being that even an illustrious professor of an illustrious university like Harvard, he looks suspicious too.
Yeah.
He had a suit on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't one of these little $2 for $159 suits either.
Yeah.
$500-600 suit with luggage. And it wasn't no cheap luggage that you get at the dollar store either. Right? So it even happens to prestigious and well-known people. All right? Every time I say a name, I want you to drop a Skittle into that bag, all right? All right? So we're going to talk about some cases of how people have been done. A lot of these names you're going to know, some you're not going to be familiar with. Let's start with the easy stuff. DJ Henry. Amadou Diallo. Abner Louima. In Cincinnati in 2001, a dude named Timothy Thomas. He's a 19-year-old black male. He was killed by 2 off-duty police officers who were on a detail at some little hood club. Mississippi, Billy Joe Johnson, 17 years old. He allegedly shot himself during a traffic stop. We know what happened with that. Martinsville, Virginia. Police taser a 17-year-old Derek Jones to death. New Orleans, Louisiana. 22-year-old man shot 14 times by the police. Yeah. And the officers shot him 12 of those times from behind. Oakland, California. Y'all know this one, Oscar Grant. Bel Air, Texas. I know it's hard to keep up, ain't it? Bel Air, Texas. Black man, Robbie Tolan, shot. Washington, D.C., Deontay Rollins, 15 years old, killed by police. Oakland, California, Gary King Jr., 20 years old, killed by cops. In Tennessee, Omega Leach, a 17-year-old Philadelphia teen who was in DYS custody, and he's dead too. Atlanta, Georgia, watch, it ain't just black men, women. She was 92 years old woman in a house in Atlanta. Katherine Johnson murdered in her home by the Atlanta police, that's in 2006. Columbus, Georgia, Kenneth Brown Walker, 39, he was killed by a deputy sheriff. Gwinnett County, Dion Frederick Williams, that happened in 2004. In Cobb County, Georgia, Tyceris Jordan, 30. Now, and I'm almost done. But we might be here all night. And now, something I'm going to talk about. You've heard of the phrase, man's inhumanity to man? One of the things that I am very, very scared of, some white people's thoughts about the thoughts they hold in secret, that's one. The other one is the mob mentality. Because when white people get together, that's when we got lynched. That's when the young man didn't even make it to the courthouse. That's when they told the sheriff, you better not even bring him in. We gonna handle it. Case will be closed by 9 p.m. tonight. Right? Mob mentality. So, does stuff like that still happen today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does. Because in New Orleans, after Katrina, you remember an entire community when black people were fleeing from the floods and the disaster, there was an entire white community who said, oh no, do not cross that line, and opened fire. Oh no, you talking about the bridge. You talking about the bridge, brother. That was just the incident in New Orleans with the police. I'm talking about the citizens in their little community, the regular citizens. When people were trying to flee and reach higher ground, and then people said, sorry, you can't come here. All right? And murder some people. There's an excellent documentary about it. You should check it. In Paris, Texas, right? Well, first I'll go back. James Byrd. Y'all know James Byrd dragged to death, right? Yeah. That's crazy. That's an anomaly, right? Kinda. Happened a couple years later again in Paris, Texas, to another young man named Brandon McClellan. People that I know that responded to the scene when the police refused to investigate and went there 2 weeks later, 14 days, 2 weeks later, and found the dude's body smeared along the pavement from like back there at that corner, like where that cop car is, way back there, from like there, like up to here, smeared, a smear of where they dragged this brother's body. They found bits of fragments of teeth, of skull, and other bones on the street. This is 2 weeks later. This is regular black folks who were just going out there because the police wasn't doing nothing, going out there to investigate themselves. They was not police or trained forensic people. 2 weeks later. Now 2 weeks in Texas. Think about that. Birds, insects, raccoons and all that type of stuff. Rain. And the stain was still there. 2 weeks later. Bone fragments, teeth chips. That's Brandon McClellan. And I hope some of y'all, if you haven't heard some of these names, go home. That's why they made Google. Crockett County, Tennessee. There was a group of neo-Nazi skinheads who, to celebrate Hitler's birthday, were going to assassinate Obama. But before they were going to assassinate Obama, I don't know if y'all know the significance of 8-8 in neo-Nazi culture. 8, Hitler, H, is the 8th letter of the alphabet. So when they say Hail Hitler, 8HH, it goes 8-8. And a lot of them will have 8-8 tattooed on their thing. So for that symbolic numerical significance, their plan was to culminate in killing Obama. But before they did that, they were going to stop to the local middle school and kill 88 black children. That was their plan. And they said, well, where can we find 88 black children at all time once again? Oh yeah, the middle school, right? So this is some real deal stuff. And now, right thinking, sane, socially justice-minded white people, you find this stuff just as crazy as I do. But the problem is that we need those same right-thinking white people to go back and talk to the rest of your people because they are going crazy. In West Virginia, young girl named Megan Williams, 20 years old. She had a mental deficiency, developmental deficiencies. So she was really functioning with the mentality of a 13-year-old girl. She was kidnapped and raped and tortured for a 6-day period in a trailer, not even a trailer, in the outhouse behind the trailer, right? In West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, Megan Williams. Everybody knows Gina, Louisiana, the case of the Gina 6, right? Yeah. Okay, them young boys down there still need protection. They still receive threats. Washington, D.C., a black student at a school for the deaf was held down and KKK and swastikas was drawn and carved all over his body. How many of y'all say that, well, we have come a little way in this community, I mean in this country. Things aren't so bad. Black brother, you a journalist? Photographer. So when you work with some of your white colleagues or in an office setting, many of us go in an office setting, we like to think that we're in America where everything is okay. Come on, I see Joe every day. Joe wouldn't harbor any crazy feelings about me, right? Well, what happens a lot there is there was a rash of nooses. How many of y'all know about the noose rash incidents? Okay? Had one on your campus. Bam, example number 1. Police in Boston got assigned to the motorcycle force. They hung a little noose on the back of his motorcycle. That's the police. police who don't even like other black police. So how you think they feel about black children? You dig what I'm saying? So really, I'm gonna just end on this note here. All of us who have a mind for justice, truth, equality, and whatnot, we gotta do a better job. We gotta kick ourselves in the butt, because I'm telling you, the devil don't sleep. And some of us will say, oh, I'd like to do something, I'd like to get involved, but you know, I got the kids, I gotta go to school, you know, bills due, you know, it's rough. It's rough for everybody. And if we don't work a little bit harder now, let me phrase that, if we don't work a lot harder now, it's only gonna get a lot worse. People in this country for a long time have been fearing that there was gonna be some sort of tumultuous rebellion. Some people fear that. Some people are over there fanning the flames. They can't wait for it to happen. The neo-Nazis and the skinheads, the Aryan Nation and others, the white citizens groups, the militias across this country, they are all preparing and cannot wait for the day when it is just out wild in the streets, the Wild West. That's where they want to bring it back to. And it is up to us to make sure that we don't let our society devolve into some Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, right? We got to make sure that we don't live in a post-apocalyptic society.
Hey, stop giving your guns away for gift certificates too.
Well, only thing I'm gonna say about gun control.
Teach your kids how to shoot if they like guns.
Well,
teach them how to shoot.
First of all,
if they like guns, teach them how to shoot.
Well, first of all, while I agree with safe weapon handling, we also want to make sure that whatever we do, we go take the firearm safety course.
Yes.
We get the permit. Yes. Right. We get the proper firearm FID card and all that, because we don't need no more brothers going to jail on no bids for no illegal guns and whatnot with the mandatory minimums and the whole thing.
That's right.
So and that option could work, but it didn't work too well for the people in Africa when the Europeans came. Didn't work out too well for the Indians where we're standing right here in Worcester. So nonviolence, while it is a strategy, I'm not comfortable in making it the strategy, because at some point, as we're talking about self-defense, I intend to defend myself. All right? And I intend to teach others how to defend themselves, but in a proper way, in a proper context. So I'm gonna just leave you with this. We gotta do the work. Stay tuned to Blackstonian.com, and now the action items. People have talked about the Senate Bill 661, right? Stephen Brewer, y'all have heard a little bit about it before. There's also a companion bill in the House. We are planning on having a rally and a lobby day, because while we can do the hoodie thing and the skill thing and the iced tea thing, we have to move to action. And we're gonna go down to the State House, we're gonna rally outside, raise hell, make some noise, then we're gonna go in the State House and lobby each and every one of those representatives and senators and tell them, no, this is a bad idea. You can tell your boys back at the NRA where you got this idea that we ain't having it. Because that's what's driving it, the NRA. And that's the last point I'll leave you with. Y'all know about the NRA? Yeah. Okay, NRA, little three-letter acronym, National Rifle Association, right? They work hand in hand with another three-letter organization, the KKK. Okay, KK. So anything that the NRA talking about, it ain't good for our people. So let's think about it. Let's act on it. I'll see y'all. Stay tuned. I'll make sure that Todd has the info. I'll make sure that the Worcester organizers from my good folks in Epica have the info, and we'll spread it out like we did this time, Facebook and whatnot. And I will see y'all. The next time I see y'all will be at the steps of the Golden Dome in Boston at the State House, and we're gonna raise hell. And as a symbol of what we're gonna do that day, because this is a rally, right? Let's make some noise. Let's all yell out, Trayvon Martin!
Trayvon Martin!
That's what we're talking about.
Trayvon Martin! Trayvon Martin! Trayvon Martin! Trayvon Martin!
Thank you.
Trayvon Martin!
Thank you.